Hey everyone, welcome back to another iiRcade Gamedaze Live. I'm your host, Michael, producer here at iiRcade. As you might tell behind me here, this is a brand new set, right? So welcome to our new little space that we have here too, which is fun. I've had a good time kind of creating this too, and I'm sure it's gonna only get a little bit more improved from here, I would say. So we'll see. We got a couple of different rooms now too for filming. We had a big marketing shoot this past week. That's why. So I'm set up for two different studio spaces here. So I figured may as well build a backdrop one too while we're at it, right? So we got a nice little space now. Looks a little bit better than just the bland green screen, which I was never a fan of. You know, I don't like green screens too much. I don't know why. But yeah, welcome. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope your work week is almost ending, or it has ended already too. If you're on the East Coast, maybe your time. We'll see. I see everybody's in chat right now too. CT Jason, my boy from last night too. Gunther, see Gunther here. Roy, Gene, Shampoo Swan, Papa Brad, Jeff Rainwater, Brooklyn Menace. Oh my gosh, chat is popping. I like it a lot too. Thanks for stopping by, everybody else in the chat too. But yeah, let's get going, right? So it's game days. So let's start out without games today though too. Actually, I do want to talk about, we just popped out the 9008002 update. So while you're watching this, I would highly suggest power cycling your machine, and then once it reconnects to the Wi-Fi, after you power back on, you should see a message that says, hey, do you want to update to 9008002? So click yes on that, just press A, and then, let the stream run after that, right? It's a good time to do it right now. Before servers get super packed and busy, I would do it now, so just so you don't have to wait later on. So we are aware of a current ongoing issue right now we pushed an update to our game server as well too. So in case your games are stuck from install to prepare, we know that should alleviate itself later on a little bit today too. The server's just taking a little bit of time, unfortunately, to chug along. It's waking up. It's getting its coffee too. I got my coffee over here. Sorry, the little accent came out. Coffee time for the server as well too. So in case your games are stuck on preparing, don't be alarmed. Don't worry about it. It will alleviate itself shortly. Cool. Just be aware. So software update 9008002, right? Let's go into that, right? So most of it's back-end stuff, honestly, not too much stuff that's going to be like crazy popping in your face for everybody as an end user. However, there are some big updates for us, right? On our end, at least too. And it's kind of cool. So one, we did some updates, and of course, there's a lot of different games and stuff that we might be releasing soon because of this, which is cool. So the pause should be working better with some games, especially Taito games. So games like Rasten, they were having our elevator action as well. Some people were seeing some issues with the pause, causing audio issues, especially, or some delays and things like that. And they had to restart their game to fix it. So that should be working better this build for sure too. I wouldn't say it's necessarily perfect yet. We're still working on improving it. Of course, it's a feature we're always going to keep improving to. Some of these games just aren't meant to be paused, quite honestly. They just weren't built that way. So it's pretty rough to pause them and resume them is the real problem, honestly. So it should be improved in this build though, however, drastically. So we've been testing that out. So that's one of the features that you guys will be aware of. Again, most stuff's back end. Four-way control got an update as well for Burger Time, especially. But really, it's all games. It's a blanket effect for our four-way mode update for joysticks. So in case you're playing a game like Burger Time, was the typical one that people were worried about a lot for four-way control. Now, what happens really idealistically is, so if you're moving on a ladder especially, it used to be that if you slipped into a corner or something, you would stop moving on the ladder, right? So that was kind of a pain. So now that doesn't happen anymore. If you slip into the diagonals, up diagonal, so up right, up left, as well as up right, actually all go up, down right, down left, down, all go down, and then left and right are still left and right? So this works really well actually too. So I played it myself again today, yesterday, testing more and more the day before. So there is an update to four-way control as well as two-way control actually too, which you guys probably won't notice whatsoever, right? So that's fun. Other things that are new, so you might notice in your settings, there's now a install preloaded games option in there too. No need to worry for pretty much any of you, honestly, because you already have machines likely. So if you're watching this and you have a machine, it's really not going to affect you at all too. You don't have to pay attention to it. However, if you do ever delete the games and do want to reinstall it, it does check which games that you have installed as far as the preloaded 11 games go, and then it will reinstall them directly after that too, which is cool. These games are kind of built into the system as well for the OS, so it's not downloading from the server, so there should be no no downtime essentially on that too. It does take a second to install. However, you're not going to wait on like a game like Dragon's Lair that might take a little bit depending on your internet speed to download from the server. That won't happen in this case. So, and going forward for people who get new devices, in case you're looking to buy an iiRcade today, this is a super nice feature for you because the game's no longer just install right away. You just need to go click. It's just kind of a different method essentially too. I shouldn't say it's easier or better for you, but it should be easier. And in case, again, if those games ever go missing for some reason, you can just reinstall them that way instead now. But again, you can always install them from the store. So, but new people to the system they'll be prompted with a different message than you've all seen in the past, essentially. So newer customers who buy a new machine will, once they turn on the machine, log in, sign into Wi-Fi, they'll get a little message that says, hey, you should go to settings real quick and hit the preloaded game, install preloaded games setting, and then it just runs through real quick. So this is a couple of different things on the back end. For us, mostly is really what it is too, but it's also convenience for you in case you ever, for some reason, uninstall and want to reinstall them and things like that too. So cool. Other things too, there you might notice a network test feature as well too that's now in the settings. Something that's, important for our system, right, to know our network speeds and things like that. So this might not really affect you at all. Honestly, you might not even ever use it. So, but what does help, especially too, we might have things going forward with things like online multiplayer and stuff where we might ask you for customer service or something, right? That if you're having like a really big issue for some reason and you're just like, my speed is terrible, and like, why is happening? This can test that, which is kind of cool. So we can use that feature as well as on our end too. We can do a lot of testing with that. So that's really why that's there. Typical thing on consoles, you can actually do this on like an Xbox as well as a Switch, as well as a PlayStation. In case you didn't know that, those are actual features, at least in the developer consoles, I should say. So there you go. So that feature is now there too. Again, nothing too crazy there for you. It's just a lot more stuff is on the back end. So you're not really going to see too much in this build. It's just fixing a lot of issues for us that are going to make our lives a whole lot easier. So, which is great. So things like a track mode push for me and stuff too. It's a little bit different method. But again, things nothing you guys will even see. So, which is cool. And it does unlock, again, some new games, right? So it's Gamedaze. Let's get into some games, right? Actually, before we jump into games, do I have any questions let's do Q&A quick on the system update. Anybody have any questions on that I might have missed in the chat? Sorry, I've been ignoring you guys right now too. Very excited when I do system updates. It's also very busy when I do system updates. So in case I missed any questions, go ahead, feel free to spam the chat right now. Put some asterisks in there, put some question marks in there, something that I can see if you've got an immediate question. If not, we can move on to games. I think everybody's waiting on games for Gamedaze, right? All right. Yeah, it's totally not there for online play. Red Shoe Shine, that's correct. It's totally not there for online play at all. It's always good to know your network speeds, though, honestly. All right, cool. Let's do it then. Let's move on. Games, of course. Yeah, I see this. Games. Bring on the new games. Great. Yeah. All right. Who said we had new games today? I just said that we're going to talk about games, right? So that's it. No, so this update, I am releasing a game today, which is fun, right? So this update allowed me to release this game finally to you, which is cool. So back-end fixes again on our end let us release new titles sometimes, right? So in this case, that's one of the days that this happens. So without further ado, this is a game that's been on the list for a bit, actually. This is a Toaplan Tatsujin game. Let me pull this up here real quick. So all right, there we go here. Let me first introduce to you a little game called Wardner. So Wardner is a fun platform adventure game. So again, brought to you by Toaplan Tatsujin. You might recognize the art style a little bit, these squished kind of little chubby characters. You might recognize that art style from some other games too. They're a little bit famous for that. So this is a game, especially that released in Japan, right? So Toaplan specifically was mostly Japan arcade releases too. A lot of Europe, not so much in the US. So not a lot of their games released in the US. So that's why you might not know them. Doesn't mean they're bad games. It just means we didn't see them, honestly, over here too. And unless you were traveling a ton as a kid to Japan, you probably never saw a lot of these games in the arcade from Toaplan Tatsujin. So specifically the Tatsujin games. So, and I think Tatsujin actually means expert in Japanese, but I could be totally wrong on that. I should ask my CCO. Anyway, fun platformer. It is a 2-player. It does have global leaderboards, so you can compete in this game as well too. So rack up those scores. Have fun with it. I think my video already looped. Nope, it didn't. Okay. But yeah, in case you're looking for an old school platform game too, this is a great one. Spit some fireballs, get some different weapons. There's wizards, there's warlocks. The whole premise of the game is, the classic trope of, I think it's actually your sister who gets stolen, actually. It's not just a princess. I think it's your sister. I wish I remembered that at this point. But yeah, you can see the little different enemies there too. Lava pits below you. Of course, lava is always a feature in a forest. That makes total sense. I've always seen lava forests before, right? There's no rivers, there's only lava. So just in case, I mean, it's probably because you're spitting fireballs, honestly. But, don't say, Smokey the Bear might not like this game too much. He might not approve. But in case you're looking for a fun, old school style platformer, Wardner is it. And yeah, I guess I should probably make this active on the store right now, shouldn't I? So, however, one caveat to that, of course, too. Like I said, we do have a little issue going on right now on the store, which is getting fixed right now, too. It's caused by an update that was going through this morning that's taking a little bit of time to push its way through to the actual servers. So just so you know, in case you're stuck on preparing stage, it's okay. It'll fix itself in a little bit, I promise you that. So, all right, there we go. So Wardner's actually live on the store right now. All right. What questions I got on Wardner? So again, yeah, Teleplantazogen game, Japanese release, Europe release as well too for arcades. And you can see that classic art style too. Yes, the floor is lava. The classic forest floor is lava. That's right. Thank you, Jim. Am I sure my machine is almost full? It's not. Is it a two-player game? Yes, Prentice. It is a two-player game. And again, this does have global leaderboards as well. So this is a game that just releasing out the gate right with global leaderboards. Let me take this down. Actually, no, replay my video. Cool. All right, leaderboards. Yes, leaderboards. Genesis too. This may have actually released on Genesis. Yes, a lot of the Teleplan games they release on the Sega Master Drive as well as Genesis. So you may have seen it there. I'm not 100% sure on Wardner specifically, but that sounds right. How much? Wardner is $7.99 right now in the store. So it is live on the store right now. You can purchase and download this game. I shouldn't say download this game because, yeah, you need to wait a bit on our servers, unfortunately, right now, too. So stay tuned on that one. We will put out a post later on today when servers are totally active again. So consider them down right now, essentially, for Game Store. But yes, the game is there. It is available. So whenever the store is back up, we'll let you know that. Yeah, it'll be there. However, do keep in mind, you need to be on 9.0.0.8.0.0.2 for this game to run properly. So update your system first. It's very important to be on the latest software for these games. So anytime we release a game especially, got to be on the latest software. If not, it will not run properly all the time. So there you go. So there are back-end features that, again, allowed me in this update to finally release Wardner because it's been on the list for a bit. It's been a couple Teleplan games, right? So in case you're waiting on Wardner, it's out now. Other questions on Wardner? Yes, $7.99 is the price. Thank you. CG Jason, it's not bad. All right. Yes, 9.0.0.8.0.0.2 is the proper latest firmware that you should be updating to. So if you're going to settings, information, and if it doesn't say 9.0.0.8.0.0.2, just power cycle that machine, let it connect to the internet, and then once it connects, immediately you'll see a message that says, hey, it's time to update to 9.0.0.8.0.0.2. Click yes, that's it. It'll do its thing. The update, I think, is like 1.9 gigs, so it may take some of you a minute to actually get through it, but shouldn't take too long. Stage music on the final fight. So you enter the bait. Yes. This game does have a very good soundtrack, honestly, too. For like retro, it's that retro classic arcade game soundtrack kind of thing too. So it's fun, the sound bites in this game. Again, if you're a big kind of classic enthusiast, this is a fun one. All right. Does the server issue affect the 30-minute refund policy? That's a great question that I honestly don't have an answer to at this very moment. So I don't know actually too, but I will let you know if for some reason there is an issue like that. Yeah, we can alleviate that through customer service as well too. Honestly, until we alert you later on, keep an eye on like the Facebook community group, especially we'll post there, Twitter and things like that too. We'll post and say, hey, it's working again now, right? So again, it's just due to the server itself getting a major update to it as well too, which took a little bit more time than we anticipated. So the game server's chugging a little bit. Again, it needs to wake up. It needs to get its coffee. It's just like me right now. But yes, other updates. Shredder's Revenge doesn't have a release date yet. Correct. Shredder's Revenge does not have a release date yet. I will keep saying that until the day I die, until it actually releases. If There's another one, Michael. Now, I can't give you more games today. It's just that. Love the new Dragon's Lair. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, JWY. So yes, in case you didn't notice, I do have my new Dragon's Lair in the background too. It's not turned on right now too. The marquee looks so washed out in camera for some reason. I'm trying to figure out how to fix our lighting here. Like, it's a new studio too. I'm still messing with lighting to begin with, right? But beyond that, like, when I turn it on, like, the marquee in person is totally fine. It's perfect. But on camera, it does not come out well at all. So I'm trying to figure out how I can sort of adjust the lenses and stuff on this camera to fix that so that we can actually have this thing kind of turn on and glowing in the background too. We'll see in the coming days, right? This is brand new. This just got built last week by me too. There's actually hardwood floor below me too that we did, which is great. So shout out to Bryant from our marketing team, especially, who came in with his brother and helped me do that. So him and his brother Timo, shout out to you guys in case you're watching right now. Yes, thank you. The new Dragon's Lair cab looks spectacular. Love it. Again, we'll see what skins are going to release whenever we do fully announce. Well, we've announced the cabinet, right? But however, whenever we're fully ready for pre-order, then you'll know what skins are actually going to be available for it. However, again, Dead Cells 100% will be there. We've pushed that one for marketing, right? So Dead Cells will 100% be there, and most likely Dragon's Lair as well. Everything else, kind of, we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? If there's other skins available at pre-order. Retromania DLC. You'll have to talk to Retrosoft on that. They will have more information than I will on on Retromania DLC. It was promised, so yes, that is still in the plans, and I know it's highly anticipated as well too. Those DLC characters, so as well as the arenas and the track mode on iiRcade. All right, that's pretty much it, right? So cool. I see some of you watched the iiRcade stream last night too, which I was guest starring on. So shout out to those guys too. Thanks for having me. You might have noticed that I did leak a game on there last night too. It was just pending this current update, right? So I needed this update to go out before I could release this game as well too. And this game is really, I would say, the main attraction of the show today too. Wardner's great, but this one is probably a much more famous game, especially if you played arcades in Japan. I'm telling you that one too. So this is a game that was super big hit in Japan too. It's again legendary over there too. As far as shmups go, this is a very legendary shmup. It's an extremely difficult shmup too. It's a predecessor. It came after like Tiger Heli and Twin Cobra or Twin Hawk, whichever one of those is in the Tiger Heli series too. So it was sort of based around that with even harder mechanics. This game is known to be extremely difficult, which is also why it has global leaderboards in there right out the gate too for this release. So without further ado, here's some Truxton for you, right? A lot of you guys have been waiting on this game. We announced it a while ago. Again, another Total Plan Tatsujin. Truxton is an absolute arcade classic, especially in Japan and Europe too. So you may not have seen this over here again. This definitely released on Sega Genesis as well as Sega Master System as well, so you may have seen it there. But yes, Truxton is classically known for being extremely difficult. So here is Truxton. Let's make it available right now, right? I know I don't have my Starburst in here today. I'm so sorry to disappoint on that. Not so much my style anyway. That's more the genre thing, right? I leave him to that. Truxton is officially 2 seconds. You guys ready? There we go. Okay, it's on start. There you go. So Truxton is now currently available. Making sure. Yeah, it went through. Okay, cool. Truxton's there. So if you've never played Truxton before, if you're a fan of shoot-em-ups, shmups, if you might call them that too, I actually say shoot-em-ups, which is weird. I'm probably the weirdo in that group. Truxton's a very classic one. It's a great one too. And as you can see, it does have auto-fire as well too. So if you are holding down A, it does have an auto-fire in this game too. It's just a slower fire rate than you can actually do if you're spamming it yourself, right? So Truxton's great. Different power-ups, different abilities, different bombs and stuff like that. Huge amounts of different enemies. And again, this game is notorious for just destroying you with enemies, which is great, and I love it so much. That's why those global leaderboards are definitely in for this game as well. Truxton is huge. My favorite shoot-em-ups of all time, right? I agree, Ranger 44 too. I actually didn't know too much about Truxton before working at iiRcade. Found it at Galloping Ghost though, however. So I played it on a real machine actually too, which is great. In case you've never felt it before, feels good. Yep, there we go. Sega, of course. Good price for that game, yeah. See Jason, $7.99. In case you guys are asking in the chat and I missed it, it is $7.99. So both Wardner and Truxton are both available now for $7.99 on the store. Total Plan Tatsujins, Both games are bangers. And Truxton especially is just super well known. If you're a big shmup fan and you've never heard of it before, you can't go wrong with it. You absolutely can't. And I'm looking forward to high scores on the leaderboards, guys. I'm really looking forward to high scores on the leaderboards and chasing those ones, because this is the game for it. Because this is a brutal game. So there you go. What questions can I answer for Truxton? I love the opening for Truxton too. There's a little brick effect and stuff like that. Let's see, yeah, Truxton's a coin muncher 6, 100%. Let's see here. What else is going on in the chat? What other questions do I have about Truxton right now too? A shmup cab skin would be an interesting, right? So in case you missed it on social media, I think I posted it. There is a Gunbird cabinet that does exist, yeah. So that's a present that we gave to the team over at Psycho. So that was specially made for them by us. So there is a Gunbird cap for shmups. Yeah, maybe we'll do a shmup cap eventually. Maybe, I don't know. We got a lot of good ones on the system, right? We got Truxton now. We got one of my favorites, the brand newer one too, right? Rangok Skies is there. We've got other ones that we've announced too. Tiger Heli is not quite out yet too. Truxton 2 as well. But yeah, there's plenty more. Strikers 1945. Oh my gosh. Dogyun. If you've never tried Dogyun, it's amazing. But yes, Truxton's what I'm focusing on today. So this game came out in 1988, by the way, too. Sorry that I just kicked my camera under the desk. Don't mind me just fixing things a little bit here. Forget, I'm in a new space. I got to get used to it still. I'm so sorry. Let's actually focus a little bit this way. There we go. I'll actually take this off the screen. And I'll actually reposition a little bit here. So we'll go a little bit this way. Technical difficulties do happen sometimes on the stream. That's fine. Let's go. Let's go there. That looks good. Cool. Bullet Storm is a great way to put this. Yes. Rangok Skies cabinet skin could be fun as well too. I see that in the chat. R-type cab, that could be fun too. Again, we'll see. We'll see what other cabs might release in this form factor, as well as now that you've seen it. In case you haven't seen it, I've actually got the image to pull up here too. Mayhem Brawlers is still available right now. They're not quite sold out yet, so there's only going to be 100 available ever. That's it. So until we run out, there you go. So in case you haven't seen it, Mayhem Brawlers is available for pre-order right now too. It's a beautiful cabinet. So if you're looking for a different style of cabinet, there you go. Obligatory 3D fighter requests. Yeah, I get that all the time too. I can't answer games about currently licensed games or games that are in talks for licensing or games that are in development right now, technically speaking. So depending on the game for a development side. But anything we haven't announced yet. The Omega. Yes. Thank you, Mikey. See, vertical pinball game. I mean, we do have Jet Pin, which is technically vertical pinball too. Again, I call that spinball game. It's not quite the same thing, but yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see if we got more of those coming. Haptics would be fun too. All right. Did we lose audio? I hope we didn't lose audio. Right. What are any other questions? Wow, this is an easy stream for me today. I like it. Half an hour, short and sweet. I'll be done very soon, I think. Space Invaders still in development for the system. Don't you worry about that too. That license hasn't gone anywhere. Stay tuned on that. Thank you, Brian. Just missing a nice logo in the background. I know. You didn't. We just haven't made one yet. Soon, right? Nice neon sign behind me. Maybe I'll just do like a halo around my head. It'll just be a big eye or halo thing. That's what it's going to end up being probably, honestly, when we're like sitting in front of it. The space will continue to change. I'm sure it will. Again, I cannot talk. You guys know that I can't talk on games that are not announced. So I won't even pull up those questions today. Why would I? Let's see. What else have I missed here? So I'm just scrolling through the chat. You guys got to put these questions in like big blocks of like question marks and stuff so that I can visibly see them. Chat goes very fast for me. I'm watching three different community streams coming at the same time. So it's not just the people in your chat. It's other chats as well too. It's Twitch, it's Facebook, it's YouTube. Let's see here. So high score reset when you die for Truxton. I want to say yes. I need to double check on that, Aaron. But I'm pretty sure that yes. And there is a non-continue point in Truxton as well too, where if you die and you cannot continue on. Let's see here. Dual sticks on Karate Champ. No, we opted for Karate Champ to go with – sorry, I pulled up this question. There we go. We opted for Karate Champ to go with two-player because we're a two-player cabinet. So we wanted people to be able to versus. So that's why we did that, because clearly we don't have 4 sticks on the cab, right? So currently that's how it is. We'll see if there's an update for that in the future, though. Yeah, twin stick Karate Champ, I know. Is the typical method for that game. There is 0 ETA on games that haven't released yet. Is Rimrock and Basketball going to have online? That is up to Bash Game Studios. So that is not an arcade title that we have done ourselves. So that's up to them because it doesn't utilize our software. However, they have their own server and we have our own server as well too that they can potentially connect to. So we'll see. That's up to Bash Games to actually make Rimrock and online. So any of their titles, that would be up to them as the developer. Let's see here. What other questions that are just not going to pull up? Yes, audio is working, by the way, as far as I know. Yeah, I see that in chat now. Cool. Congo Bongo is treating me great, Raven. I haven't touched it in like a month and a half or 2 months, honestly. So we'll see. I'll get back on that leaderboard. I'll take the #1 spot back soon enough. Yeah, you can count on that one. Maybe this summer when I have more time. Got to get you all online play first, right? All right. What are the questions right now? Any other questions on Truxton that I can answer? Truxton, Wardner, Toplantastogen in general. That's a fun one too. Fun topic. Games on the system. The new update, 9008002. Again, remember to update your system before you download either of these games that I've announced today. Update first, always. Always update your system first, and then you can try. Then you can play the games. That's how it goes. Got to eat your dinner before you dessert. That's how it goes. Viewable online through the app. Here's a question I get asked pretty often, actually, too. Any thoughts on making leaderboards viewable online through the app? Maybe. It's not an announced feature yet, too, but of course, that's something that we've thought about before, too. Yeah. I would love just more options for you to view those kind of things as well, too. Make it easier a little bit. I mean, it's pretty easy now, right? You just go to the game. But, yes, there are other methods, too, that we may implement later on. Brooklyn's already picked them up. Great. All right. Otherwise, any other pressing questions before we head out today? Short and sweet. I mean, Truxton, Wardner, 2 great games, a new system update. There's been a lot going on here. So, and of course, we're working on other features right now too that you already know about. Can I ship the cab? I don't have yet. If I could ship the cab to your house, maybe. I mean, how much you want to pay me for this cab? It's a good question, right? Ghouls and Ghosts, I don't know. I don't know what that game is necessarily, or maybe I do. Again, games that I can't talk about. Yeah, of course. So Jim's got a good question too. Any previously announced Toll-Playing games still being worked on? Yes. There were a batch of, I think, 10 that were included in this little batch with Truxton and Wardner that were still not released yet too. Truxton 2 clearly is still on the list too. We've got Truxton 2, Tiger Heli, Twin Hawk, Twin Cobra, Rally Bike. There's 3 more in there, 4 more in there. But yeah, they're also being worked on currently. Yep. Again, games that we've announced in the past license, they will be coming. They just take a little bit more time to get worked on sometimes. Very small development team in-house here. So just takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of time that we got. All right. Any other question? Let's go. It's 3:30 already, right? Nothing too crazy today. Don't need to hang around for too long. Let you guys update your system, play some games whenever they start to actually download from the server, which would be great. Let's go maybe 5 more questions. We'll say 5. Big old 5. Let's see here. Yep, Dave, I talked about this earlier too. This is fixed a little bit in this update, at least too. It should be working better in this update. If you've paused a classic arcade game, especially title games seem to be affected by this more heavily than others. Sometimes when you resume, it will cause audio issues. So that's what you're seeing. It's unfortunate. We're fixing that as well. We're still continuing to work on that, but this update should fix it drastically compared to what it was, especially. So, and again, some games worse than others. But yeah, that's what causes that is the pause in the game, because these games weren't meant to be paused. So that's really sort of a new-ish technology still. So that's the problem, is resuming from pause on these games that were just never meant to be paused. It's hard. So it's very difficult. But again, features that we're always working on improving. And again, in this update, there is it's a fix for it. I wouldn't say it's necessarily perfect yet. We're still continuing to work on it, but it is much better in this build. All right. Other questions. So that was question. We're down to 4 now. Let's see. Side bezel art for vertical games. Interesting one. Maybe in the future. Bezel art, particularly for individual games, is very, very time consuming. It has to get approved by the developer, which is another thing too. One, we have to get the images from them. Two, if they have images even, mind you. And just editing some of these games is very, very difficult compared to others. There's a lot of games that could fall into that list as well too. You're talking like probably about 120 at least. So not that I can say, but yeah, of course, I know that's something that you guys might want later on too. Yeah, so here we go. Here's a good question too. So Rainwater's got a question about the update specifically. So 4-way. So can you explain how that 4-way control thing with the update works again? Diagonal now counts as up and down. Yeah, so essentially, instead of disabling diagonal control for 4-way controls in this update, now we've changed it with this update in 9.0.8.0.2 that released today. Now it changes those 4-way control games to also activate so if I'm pressing up and right or up and left, depending on which side of the screen, I'm mirrored right now. I don't even know which way I'm going, but that will register as an up press, as well as down is the same thing. So down, right, down, left as down also registers as down. So it's a better way to control it. So especially on things like ladders in Burger Time, if you were to press up and then you'd slide over sometimes maybe to like diagonal right, it would actually stop you from moving on the ladder. That no longer happens with this. So that's really what this change fixes. All right. That's 2 more. We got 2 more questions. 2 more questions that I can get here. All right. I'm not watching the 76ers, by the way, tonight, too. But I think I watch basketball sometimes. Truxton 2, sweet. Yep, Truxton 2 is still there. Hellfire was one that I missed on that list. Yeah, Hellfire is there. Hellfire is within those Total Plan Tatsugen games that are great that haven't released yet. Yep, they're still being worked on. Thank you for that, Ken, because I forgot about Hellfire, yeah. What games were released? I see Ritual Dell asking. Truxton and Wardner. So in case you're a huge shmup fan or just a big Tatsugen Total Plan fan. Yeah, they run immaculately as well too, of course, on our system. Good to go. Both have leaderboards, all that jazz, all the bells and whistles. Let's see. Gosh, there's a lot of questions that I just can't answer, which is unfortunate. Do I prefer Mac or PC? Of course I'm a PC guy. I'm a programmer. I can't program on a Mac. Kidding me? Program games on a Mac? Be an absolute nightmare. Not in today's world. Favorite comic book? We got a personal question. All right, let's go with that one. Favorite comic books? Wow, that's a great question, actually, too. I forget. There was a series with a detective, and it was a detective who went around. It was a dark series. I think it's called Fairy Tales, actually. But they went around solving fairy tale-esque crimes, like Grimm Brothers fairy tales-esque crimes. So they were like brutal murders and like poisonings and things like that, stabbings and, all kinds of crazy Grimm Brothers stuff. That was a fun one. I'm pretty sure it was called Fairy Tales. I need to double check on that. I haven't looked at that in a while, though. I used to collect comics all the time, and now it's kind of fallen by the wayside over the years a little bit. But I have a really cool place called Alley Cat Comics here in Chicago by me. So shout out to Alley Cat Comics in case they're watching. I don't know why. They might. Maybe they'll want an iiRcade one day. I don't know. But yeah, it's a fun place by my house too. All right, I'll count that. I won't count that as a question for iiRcade today. What other questions do I have related to the system, iiRcade, the updates, Truxton, other 12-playing games, Wardner? So not the Goonies, unfortunately. We're not talking about the Goonies today. When does the update come out to play online games? I'll count this one in that mix too. Damon, we announced it for Q1, and we're still planning on releasing online play in Q1. So before the end of March, right? So end of March is really the last of Q1, I would say too. So you can expect it sometime around then, likely. Yes, it's still being worked on very heavily. It's the forefront of my mind at all points in time. And again, we will be releasing that in a very alpha state, in a very basic sort of state, mostly just to test the server out, really. Test the server out, handful of games at a time. That's how we'll be rolling out online play. So it'll release in sort of an alpha state, and then we'll get a good foundation going, and then throughout the year, we'll continue to update that pretty regularly, honestly, is the plan. Fables sounds right, Shampoo Swan. Thank you. Yes, Fables, which has an amazing art style as well, too. I forget who the artist actually is for that comic book series, but yeah, if you're into comics, check it out. The writing's really well done. That's why. All right. One more question before we call it a day. Let's make it a good one. Pop your really, really solid, high-profile questions in the chat that I can actually answer. And if it alludes to a game that I can't talk about, then yeah. Yes, of course. Of course, Mr. Miami Cuddles. We will give as many fixes as possible. So I mean, a feature like pause, especially like it's just hard. It's hard to get working for these classic arcade games specifically. That's where the issue lies, because again, they weren't meant to be paused. But we do have a pause menu feature on our system, right? So like clearly, if we give you a feature like pause, we want it to work properly, and we're always working to improve it. So if it's broken, we're fixing it, right? So don't worry on that. E3 appearance? I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea. Is E3 going to be online this year? Potentially. Is it going to be in person? Potentially. We don't really know yet. GDC kind of switched it up on me and decided to do in-person last minute. I'll end on this one because it's a fantastic question. Thank you, BradyGoat12, or just Brady Goat as we might call him, you know. Question, how excited are you about 2022 for iiRcade? Brady Goat, I'm extremely excited for 2022. We've talked about big things coming up this year. Again, it's only January. It's very early in the year. It's still Q1. We haven't even hit Q2, Q3, and Q4, right? As you might have seen, holiday time was a big time for us last year, too. Summertime was a huge time for us last year as well, too. So there'll be more stuff coming. And again, it's a big year for iiRcade. So sophomore slump won't kick in for us. We have so many plans, so many things come along, things that I can't talk about yet, unannounced features, unannounced games, you know. Plenty of more things to be excited for. Again, patience is key. So we're a small company. We're doing our best. I promise you that. So keep that in mind. More games will release. More software updates will release. Online play is coming this year. These cabs are coming this year. So there you go. All right. And with that, I've got nothing to play you guys out with. Again, I need to start getting more videos to play you out with, or like a generic thing maybe. Maybe I'll do like an iiRcade like spam ad message or something. I don't know. That'll be fun, right? Who doesn't like a good ad? Great. But yeah, all right. Let's all have a good Friday. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for paying attention to me, I guess, too. Have fun with Truxton. Have fun with Wardner. They're available right now in the store. Again, keep in mind, too, the store, you might be stuck on preparing for a little while. That's just an unfortunate side effect of the update that just went out today to the server itself, not to this update. This update is fully available and works right now. So do be sure before, if you are purchasing these games especially, update your system first. Be on 9.0.0.8.0.0.2. Plus, you should always just be up to date and logged in. It just helps. We do updates for a reason. So there's a reason for that. They have a lot of fixes in them. They have a lot of back-end stuff, especially that just make performance on these machines better quality of life, better features, things like that. So do make sure that you update, especially if you're purchasing Truxton or Wardner, update before you download and install the game. And again, keep in mind that the games will not download properly right now until the server drinks its coffee, totally wakes up. So just give it a little bit of time. Promise it will be fixed. It will be later on today too. It just takes a little bit of time today. So until then, update and have a happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.